because residents there have raised these concerns. But whilst we wait and we connect with NEDCO Corporate Affairs Head, Mr. Maxwell Kotoka, let me bring you some other stories now. And this evening, the Civil and Local Government Staff Association of Ghana, CLOSSAG, is challenging the basis of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission's decision to conduct payroll audit at the time public servants are agitating over inconsistent pay structure. We know that today the Fair Wages raised concerns about payroll fraud, amongst others, for which reason they are embarking on this exercise. We'll get to hear from Ben Arthur, who is the Chief Executive of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. But first, let's listen to CLOSSAG on their concerns about this particular exercise.
Of my knowledge, and the Fair Wages hasn't got that mandate. Fair Wages hasn't got a mandate to do payroll audits. We have institutions that is their responsibility to do payroll audits, because what they have outlined shows that they want to do a payroll audit, and they don't have that mandate. So I don't know how they're going to do it. Who is giving them that authority, and from where they are drawing this mandate to do this exercise. If you look at their statements, even the paragraph 2, is saying the collective bargaining processes. Theirs is to do negotiation. So I don't know where they are drawing their powers from.
They claim they have the power. They
don't have. When you read it, they don't have. The Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, what capacity do they have in terms of accounting and internal auditing? This is a pure internal audit function. They don't have the mandate, to the best of our knowledge. This is not negotiation. And this idea of ghost name goes to, we've heard it too much. We have permanent department units under Minister of Finance doing biometric, all in the name of ghost name. We have validation, where a third party, they are doing validation for salaries, all in the name of ghost name. Consultants that have been awarded in the name of ghost names, they are too much. They should change their strategies more. We are fed up of this every time ghost names. Who has been prosecuted in this country, in Ghana, of having put ghost names onto the payroll? They should tell us.
What should interest the Fair Wages?
It's inconsistencies in differences in public sector salaries. That's their job. What they are saying, I don't know who gave them those functions. I don't know. We look at their law. Even what they are quoting, they say collective bargaining processes. They are in charge of negotiations. This is not their mandate. So for us, we don't see where they are coming from. It is not their mandate. It's not their business. It's consultative for their guru boys.
Let me bring in Mr. Ben Arthur, but before that, he's been insisting that it is part of its authority they intend to sustain to crack down the fraudulent salary payment in the public service.
But it becomes very imperative as part of our mandate to make sure that we are able to do this exercise, not as an event. It has to be a continuous process. So we thought that it does not have to rely only on fair wages. We have to do this in collaboration with others. So we're basically asking all the public institutions to take steps to conduct their own payroll to ensure that any disparities or anomalies that we find in their pay structure is expunged. And it's very necessary that those who deserve what they are paid is maintained, and those who do not deserve what they are paid, they are taken out. There are a number of incidents where you realize that an individual ought to be on a certain level, but it is possible that the person is above that level or below. We have had instances where unions and the rest have reported, and even management have reported some disparities to fair wages. Some of them we have tackled, others have bordered on many other issues that we're taking steps to address. So once you are an institution that has developed pay structures, we have sat down, negotiated terms and conditions, we've determined allowances and other benefits. Obviously, the natural thing to do is to go back there and find out if it is being implemented the way originally intended.
Okay.
But and it also helps us with our internal control system, what is working and what is not working.
Thankfully, Mr. Arthur joins us via phone for further clarification on this. We're grateful for your time here on the Joy News Prime. Well, we've been hearing from CLOSSAG, amongst others. They raise concerns about the mandates that you have. We've been looking at Section 3B, Act 737 of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission. I know that gives you part of the mandate for which reason you're doing this. But what really is the objective? For them, you should be concerning yourself with inconsistencies in pay structure rather than looking at payroll fraud, when in fact the Auditor General, amongst others, are taking care of that.
So thank you very much. You mentioned that we should be concerned with pay inconsistencies and whatever, if I heard you right. Mm-hmm. But it's part of our mandate. I must admit that in times past, due to various logistical and technical reasons, fair wages have not been able to be very assertive in this mandate of monitoring. But of course, it's even organized labor, and through various engagements with management and organized labor of the various institutions, that continue to point out the fact that some disparities occur. There are times that people are entitled to certain kinds of allowances. They are not getting it. It's due them. We have even had negotiated agreements, and sometimes implementation challenges setting. So obviously the natural thing to do, as I've earlier said, is to step out there and ensure that those agreements are being respected. Apart from that, if in the course of the monitoring you also come across any fraudulent practices as far as payroll is concerned, you want to point it out for it to be singled out and dealt with. And I do not think that there is anybody in this country who should fear that fair wages is stepping out there to conduct payroll monitoring. It's within our mandate, simply because you cannot develop allowances and benefits for public servants and say that you do not want to care as to how it's being implemented, especially when we have had even an engagement at COWU last year, and the tripartite community, organized labor, employers association, and government have even signed a communique agreeing that we need to take steps to ensure that the public sector pay policy, which is a single span pay policy in particular, is reviewed. So if we all agree that some challenges have occurred and continue to occur, definitely we need to step out there to ensure that the right things are done. Aside that, let me give a typical example. It is also possible that certain disparities have occurred in error. That must be corrected. It can also happen that certain disparities and practices have been very intentional and they have been very fraudulent in nature. Definitely, that must also be dealt with. How would an employee who is working hard receiving pay is also, another employee who is good in nature must also be receiving pay? That is cheating for those who are working. So we want to be sure that those who are actually on the payroll are the ones who must be there, and that what they are being given is what ought to have been given them. So if anybody is found to have been deprived of certain benefits, we will act to ensure. And I can assure the people of Ghana that the team that is coming to do this, if we find out that any of the team members is also compromised in integrity, has taken a bribe or has done anything untoward to jeopardize the action, we will deal with that individual.
Okay.
Because the time has come for us to be able to be very objective to what we want to do. The issue of whether fair wages people are guru boys or not, I do not think it's an issue that we need to really belabor that at all.
And I know the exercise is starting on the 1st of April, Mr. Arthur.
We are the same group of people who led the various negotiations, which people are benefiting. If we were never called guru boys, or that one was job for the boys, obviously you cannot say that when we are setting out there to monitor what we have agreed to implement and to ensure that it's being implemented well, you cannot turn around and tell us that we are guru boys now.
Okay. Well, I know the exercise is starting on the 1st of April. How long is it going to be, if we may know? It's
supposed to be a continuous exercise. It's not supposed to be an event. In fact, we have been doing it since last year when I took over. We've been doing it on small scale. But now we want to go on a bit of a larger scale to ensure that others are benefiting from it. And I can tell you that there are some implementers, administrators who even face challenge in understanding some of the agreements and the administrative procedures. So when they also have the opportunity of encountering us, we take the opportunity to also educate them and give them first-hand information. When they have challenges, we will help them with smooth implementation of whatever that has been agreed to.
Well, Mr. Arthur, this is an exercise that we'll be following closely. We are grateful. That's the CEO of the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission, Ben Arthur there, and also reacting to concerns raised by CLOSSAG about this particular exercise and its duplication. Well,